a good director when it comes to like movies like Sin City, something he gives a shit about. But a lot of those stunt effects were amazing, you know, and especially in Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
His grasp of new technology and new means of shooting and shooting cheaply but making it look good.
Yeah,
he's a master at that.
He is a master.
But he said film was dead. Film is by no means dead. Oh, no. And honestly, film is still a superior look. I was championing video years ago, and I thought he was right. And right now I have to say, well, looking at the way things are, even with the best cameras they have out there, it's really not the case.
And the funny thing is, a lot of these new cameras, they're trying to get that new look to look like film now. I mean,
and it just can't.
Right? It can't,
I mean, one day it will. It just will. I mean, because that's what they're trying to do. And if you try hard enough, you'll get it. It's the same way with animation, though. When 3D animation came out, first they said, all right, there will be no more stop motion movies, period. Stop motion is dead because with 3D, you don't have to do that Ray Harryhausen type of animation anymore. Yeah. Special effects are there. No more stop motion for that. And no more stop motion for kids things either because it's just easier to do in a computer. Yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas came back and proved that wrong.
Oh, yeah.
When Jurassic Park came out, everybody's like, no more. But then when I think after Big Brother Bear, I believe it was, I maybe Disney had a movie right after that, but I think it was Brother Bear. They said, this is our last 2D animated movie. We're going to switch completely to 3D. Yeah. Laid off a bunch of people in their animation, 2D animation department. Yeah. And
maybe that was a good thing because they're releasing a movie like that. 2D. You're like, time to move on to something because your movies are becoming shittier and shittier.
Well, yeah,
so
I mean,
why throw all that money away?
Yeah, but you put your B team on it, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't remember what the last 2D animated movie is. I'm thinking it's Brother Bear, which is very mediocre, but it could have been also the one that I liked a lot. The one where it had they have a show on it on TV now. It was that big Aztec theme.
Oh, not Atlantis.
No.
What are you talking about?
No. It was a comedy and it was very funny. It had what's his name doing the voice. The guy was just talking about in a Woman Chaser.
Shit, I don't know. The Woman Chaser. Oh, the guy from Seinfeld.
From Seinfeld, yeah.
He played the Tick.
Yeah.
Help me, Corey.
I'm trying. I wish I could. Why can't I remember these fucking names when I come on here, man? I'm being put on the spot and I can never remember his name. But it might be that movie. Look it up and look up his movies for Disney. But either way it goes, I don't know which one was the last animated movie. But Disney said they weren't going to do any more animated movies. Never say never, because one thing you got to understand is that that old technology is never dead. It's still there. And as long as it's there, people will use it. And as a matter of fact, when people tried to say 2D animation was dead, it exploded on TV.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, you kidding me? I mean, look at the entire Batman series. I mean, the whole Bruce Timm. I mean, that's still incredible.
I mean, well,
in the later years, they kind of used some 3D stuff, but only for like vehicles and stuff. But they integrated it basically. Yeah. But the 2D, it still looks amazing.
And it's still cheaper to use 2D animation for television. So if you can do that, as long as the technology is still there, you're going to see a 2D animated film at some point. And like with anything else, if the Frog Princess is successful, it might start a resurgence of 2D animation. But I would only be afraid that people would rip it off and would make an inferior product. But that's just me.
And we'll wait and see. As far as like them trying to bring back 2D, I mean, honestly, if this movie just blows up.
Patrick Warburton, by the way, just came to
Warburton, yeah, there you go.
Patrick Warburton, he was. Yeah, I can't remember the movie. David Spade was in the film, also that Disney movie. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was a very funny film.
Hey, speaking of Atlantis, was that the last 2D? Because I want to say that was 2D and computer.
I don't know. I thought Brother Bear was, but I'm not sure.
Because I swear, I mean, that's something else to look up.
But I don't know. I really don't. I just know Brother Bear was one of the later ones, and I said they're going out.
We should start to research this, Corey.
Oh, hey, man, we just talking about, I don't know what we're going to answer sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like our conversations lead into things, and you
and I'm just like, I know. It makes me think, and I'm like, damn it, because I know it's gonna pop in our head
right after we're done.
And right after we're done, and we're like, let's go back and no.
And meanwhile, people are listening to us and they're like, man,
I know people right now are pissed off. Like, you dumbasses. Who the hell's paying you guys?
I know. to sit up here and talk about you don't know.
Yeah.
Tell you the name of the show, Fuck It Up with Corey and co-host.
There you go.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into our next email here. This is a pretty good one. It says, Okay, this is from David Gutierrez. And he says...
Gutierrez.
Yes, Gutierrez. David Gutierrez.
Not Gutierrez.
You can't, look at you can't even say... Guilty.
Guilty.
David Gutierrez.
David Gutierrez.
Gutierrez.
Get.
David Gutierrez on Telemundo, Mando. El Sábado, este Telemundo, Mando.
Telemundo.
What was it?
Stop being racist.
Este Sábado, on Telemundo, Mando. Okay, so David has this to say. He has 2 questions.
Mr. Gutierrez.
What do you think about the new Spirit trailer? And 2, tell us 5 movies that have made you cry like a little bitch. Actually, it says little girl, but I prefer bitch.
I don't cry at nothing. I'm a robot, you dummy.
You do. Yeah, you do. Oh, man. Okay, I'll answer the first
Spirit? What we think about the Spirit movie?
Yeah, what do you think
the trailer?
About it? Yeah, go ahead.
It can go either way. I don't think I don't get enough from those trailers to really allow me to form an opinion, to be honest. I mean, I see it and it looks like Sin City Part 2. But then again, I thought, Sin City was a good movie because Frank Miller, I mean, a lot of that stuff I was like, well, I can't see Robert Rodriguez, making people give those performances. So I kept on giving credit to Frank Miller, So, but I can't really. I mean, it looks like it can go either way. It could be just like a real like nicely packaged movie. Pretty things to look at, but just completely hollow and nothing to say as far as a comic book movie.
Okay, yeah, no, I hear you. Look. I never. Anybody correct me because again I'm gonna be talking off my head here a little bit. I know very little about the Spirit.
I know very little about him too.
And it's of course the Spirit is based on a comic book by Will Eisner.
Right.
And that book was made back. I think it was created back in the 40s. I don't have an exact date, but Will Eisner created the Spirit back then, and it was looking. And I've seen these books. And there's been I think they did some others that came out later, like redone or whatnot. In fact, Will Eisner is very famous. They have an award after him for comic book artists now called the Will Eisner Award. So, looking at these books, they look nothing like the one that Frank Miller wants to do. No, Frank Miller.
Well, I know Frank Miller wrote some of the Spirit, and I think it's more his take on it.
He wrote some later Spirit books, but. That is true. It's his take. Now, the ones that were done back in the 40s, I could, and again, people correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they were more whimsical and they were a lot more colorful. I can tell you that for certain. The Spirit wears a bright blue suit,
right? And, a bright blue mask. I mean, it sticks out.
And he has a red tie. Now, he got the red tie in the movie, but Frank
very
Miller,
Dick Tracy-ish.
Frank Miller. And everybody, Frank Miller, of course, is known for Sin City and Batman Returns.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns. And he says how much he's a huge Spirit fan.
Yeah.
And he just loves this. And he says that Will Eisner, I don't know when Will Eisner died, but I saw him at Comic-Con. And he was talking about how, at a panel, talking about how Will Eisner would probably give him his blessing for this and whatnot.
Right.
Well, looking at this, it looks like another Sin City.
It does. I mean, it looks like a grittier. At least it's Frank Miller's version of the Spirit, and that's all I get from it. I mean, he has all the girls out there on the posters where God knows. I don't know if they're going to be well representations of those women in the comics. Or are they going to get slapped around and they're going to be flashing their ass, which I have no problem with. But
it's not going to be rated R.
What?
It's not going to be rated R.
It's not?
No.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty certain it's not going to be rated R.
Okay. Then for some reason now I just don't care. So,
so all those hopes that you have for seeing girls' asses. Hey, did you pull it up on Wikipedia?
Yes, and actually it was created in 1940. Yeah.
Okay, so I was kind of close then. All right. Now, he as far as now, enough history lesson because I don't know much about the comic or that much about.
Here, I'll tell you, Corey. The Spirit chronicled the adventures of a masked crime fighter who fought crime with the blessing of the city's police commissioner Dolan, an old friend. Despite the Spirit's origin as a detective named Denny Colt, his real identity was virtually unmentioned. Again, for all the intents and purposes, he was simply the Spirit.
Okay.
Whatever that means. The stories ranged through a wide variety of styles, and straightforward crime drama and noir to lighthearted adventure, from mystery and horror to comedy and love stories, often the hybrid elements that twisted genre and expectations.
Okay,
so it did some things that twisted the genre, and it did some things that heightened expectations. And
very good. I see you learned something there.
See,
there you go.
See how I turned that into my own? See, kids, that's how you do it. You read it and you make it your own.
You steal it. Okay.
Yes.
Now, Samuel Jackson is in the movie. And he plays the villain called the Octopus.
But you know what? Okay, now stop me if you heard this. But I heard some complaints that in the Spirit comic they never saw what he looked like.
He was hands.
Yeah, he was just hands.
And for some reason,
like what was his name from Inspector Gadget?
Oh yeah, I know.
Dr. Claw.
Oh yeah, Claw.
Claw.
Get you, Gadget. He always had a cat. For all you know, the cat was the villain. But no, and they have Samuel Jackson in the movie, so. And Samuel Jackson looks crazy. He looks like a drag queen.
He's dressed up like a drag queen.
Yeah, he looks like a cracked up drag queen. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is because I saw some clips that they showed for the movie.
Right.
And this is coming from somebody who virtually knows nothing about the Spirit, really. Mm-hmm. I wasn't that much of I wasn't crazy about what I saw.
No, I mean, you know what? I mean, it looks like it could be a fun movie to watch. But yeah, I from that trailer, it was like a music video. I couldn't get much from it.
If you look at I don't know how much work they have to do, but I saw looking at the trailer. So far, we just had kind of a teaser trailer, and they showed a little bit more.
I think they just released a new one this weekend.
All right. Well, from what from the trailer, for about 5 minutes, I was like, "This looks cool," but it didn't grab me. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the clips from the movie that they showed at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It looks empty. There's all this. It's all this empty space that these characters are on.
Right.
A lot of black background, and so I don't get any sense of an environment in it. And are these characters interacting with an environment, or each other that much?
Right.
And then Samuel Jackson's performance in there, from what little clip I saw, it's almost like the movie has this really dark, serious tone to it, but Samuel Jackson is acting goofy, and is really not fitting together too well.
No, you're right about that. You know what? It kind of reminded me. Do you remember a documentary called Comic Book Confidential?
Yeah.
Okay, where you see the panels, and I guess when they were making that documentary, they would create these moving storyboards where they shot the comic image. And sometimes it looked like you were looking at it through one of those 3D viewfinders.
Yeah.
And they had either the writer of the comic basically read his story, and it went from panel to panel. And back then it was cool just because you're seeing the creator narrate or read his book. But at the same time, it did feel like it felt shallow. It was like it's there, but it's comic book. It has its purpose because it's on a documentary. But looking at the trailer, it did remind me of that, to where I'm like seeing images, but I don't see anything emoting from the actors. What you're
saying is you don't feel like you're watching a completed product.
No, not at all.
That's what I felt like. I'm pretty sure they said that what we were looking at was done, but when I first saw it, I was saying, wow, it looks like they have some backgrounds to fill in, and they made it sound like they didn't.
You know what?
It just feels empty.
It's starting to sound more and more like the Star Wars prequels.
Well, it's almost
where they're acting around an environment. They're just saying their lines, and you're not really feeling. You're not getting what the scene, what the purpose of the scene is, why it's there, besides for it to just look pretty.
Look, I don't want the movie to do bad. I'm hoping.
No.
I'm hoping that'll be.
I'm hoping for a good Frank Miller movie, crying out loud.
I'm hoping that'll be a hit. I'm hoping it'll be a good movie. I mean, I pretty much don't wish ill on anyone.
Yeah. Too bad you told me it's not rated R, because I'm like, well, if this is the closest thing I can get to Sin City Part 2, then I guess I'll take it. But
it could be, but I got the feeling that it was going to be PG-13. I don't know. It could. I mean, for all I know, it could be rated R. But I don't. And let me tell you something. If it is rated R, from those clips that I saw, I don't think that it's fitting the right tone for an R movie.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember Comic Book Confidential for one line, and nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about. But they were reading one comic in there, and there was it was about a kid who thought that there were mole man in his backyard.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking to.
I have that. I have it.
Yeah, that comic.
I actually have it.
Who's the artist for that?
Oh shit! I can't even remember.
You remember the kid talking to his neighbor, Mr. Pinker, who was like an asshole. He's like, and the guy was like, "Get out of my yard!" And he's like, "You're Mr. Pinker. You should be called Mr. Stinker." I don't know why it stood out to me, man.
And that was weird because that kid looked like he looked like a baby.
Yeah, he had
like
a bald
baby,
head.
But
yeah.
he was like a teenager. What was that? That comic was called I want to say it was called The Black Hole. Let me look that up real quick.
Anyway, well, we answered that email right there. So you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, we didn't answer the second part of that.
What was the second part?
Name 5 movies that made you cry.
You know what? Go for it, Corey.
I'll
That's
answer
all
that.
you, buddy.
I thought about this a little while beforehand. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, I'll name them right off the bat, and then we'll see if. And I don't know if we even have 5, and I'll explain some of them in detail real quick. Okay. For the Love of Benji, E.T.
For the love of Benji,
Jurassic Park. The Color Purple. Yeah, see, maybe I only have 4 because I know that there was another one. I know. Oh, maybe Disaster Movie.
Disaster movie.
That shit, man.
That's your own fault, Corey.
You were there with me, but man, I was a kid. And they ran a rerun of For the Love of Benji, and Benji. And for the kids who don't know, I don't know if you know who Benji is. Benji was like the dog back from the 70s and the 80s. That was the star dog.
Yeah, and that dog annoyed the shit out of me every time I saw it. I didn't even care how cute it was. I'm like, because it seemed like on TV they ran like a marathon of those damn movies.
They had all these Benji movies.
Yeah, and I'm like, for crying out loud, who is the dumbass that keeps on watching these movies?
And let me tell you what Benji looked like. You know how you sweep the floor and you get a big old pile of dust? Benji looked like that with eyes. In fact, when Benji died, I think they got some other dogs and just rolled him around in a dustbin and said, okay, we got Benji too.
He looked like a used mop that you see in somebody's toilet.
A dirty ass mop. Like those shit wipers that you use on the toilet.
Yeah.
But Benji had a girlfriend in the movie, and we're talking about a real dog, not an animated dog. And Benji had the little white poodle that he was hanging around with, and they were trying to stop these robbers. And one of the guys turned around and kicked Benji's girlfriend. That dog fell down the steps, and I was like, and I was a little kid, and I was like, oh shit! And then I looked, and the little white dog didn't get up, and I was like, oh no, Benji's girlfriend. My mom came up to me. Now you thinking your mom's gonna come up and like be like, oh baby, come here, you crying? Now my mom came in, she's like, oh baby, what's wrong? You crying? You crying at Benji?
She started laughing at you. Good.
She's like, come here, baby. That dog gonna be all right. That dog ain't really dead.
I wish your dad would have seen you. He would have smacked you upside the head for that. The hell you doing watching Benji movies? What the hell? I taught you better than that. What's that Death Wish movie I got on VHS? Where is it?
I'm gonna cut on some football for this boy.
I'm telling you, baby, he's gay. I'm telling you.
No son of mine. And then I remember E.T., man. For anybody who's seen E.T., E.T. was they had that scene where E.T., but they thought E.T. was dead.
Oh yeah,
and then D was all gray, and he got a flat line,
and Elliot looked like he was gonna die.
Yeah, and I was like, but E.T. was. They said he was dead. He just went to hibernation, but I thought he was dead. God. So I turned to my mom. Now you always looking at your parents to say to give me some condolences or some comfort, and so I looked at my mom like, Mama, is he dead? And my mom looked at me and she's like, baby, I don't know. And I was like, oh God, no!
It's all plastic and smoke and mirrors. That thing's not real.
Yeah, my mom was like,
Corey.
Shut the fuck up. But no, Jurassic Park, I've said this several times. I mean, I looked at the dinosaurs walking. I wasn't crying out of sadness. I was really like, they walked the earth again. Oh, yes. Praise Jesus.
I tell you what, though, the one scene in there that I'll admit almost drove me to tears was seeing little bitty Drew Barrymore like about to cry. Well, she was crying when E.T. was about to die. The camera just went to her, and the thing is, it looked so genuine and real. And just seeing that little girl cry, and I was like, oh, poor kid.
Oh, I know.
Poor kid.
I know, man. I know. What was the other
They got some great performances out of those kids. You think about it.
Well, Drew Barrymore was drunk at the time anyway. So
they took a whiskey away from her. That's what happened.
I'm having withdrawals.
Yeah, she had one of those like silent cries that just built up.
No, what else did I cry in, man? The Color Purple, man. Color Purple, the end of the movie.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, because look, if you don't know what the end of the Color Purple is, cut it off. All right, you cut it off? Okay. Whoopi Goldberg is just getting fucking beat down through the movie, man. And she's just at the end of the movie, she's reunited with her children that were taken away from her at the end, and it ends, man. Like I'm about to cry right now. I'm serious. It's like it ends with them, with her meeting her children again.
Yeah.
And I think, and then she's out in the field playing patty cake with her, and it's just a silhouette while the credits are rolling. And she's out in the field, and you see a silhouette of them while the sun is all purple in the background. She's playing like a patty cake or something, a hand game with giving a hand job to her sister. No, she's out there playing like.
You cried at that?
I know. Oh, this is beautiful. When you cry, you saw Whoopi Goldberg give somebody a hand job.
No, I'd be screaming. Screaming in terror.
No, she's out there she's reunited with her sister, I believe, and she's out there playing just like, patty cake down in the field, and it's some quiet music playing. I was just like, damn, that's powerful, man. That had me crying. I think a lot of Spielberg movies I cried in. I think Schindler's List I cried in.
Schindler's. Yeah,
but it was early in the movie because I was like in shock. I was like, oh,
it was nuts.
Fuck, man.
That was crazy. I was more in terror than I was like, damn, this shit went down.
I know.
Really, and it's not until you see something like that. It's sad when you have to see it through a movie. You can't just read it. But watching a movie really does affect you when you're seeing something like that, and it just gets you to get like, wow, this shit went down.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man, I did cry when I was a kid at the end of King Kong.
Oh, really? Wait, well, now which one? The original
the
or
original.
The black and white original?
Yeah, because I felt so bad, man, because even at the end, I understood like...
I thought you were going to tell me the 70s one where
I cried because that was made. I cried from laughing.
I was like, is that the dude with Tron with the big old beard?
That's right. Jeff Bridges was in that movie.
he was in it, yeah.
No, man, I cried because I was like, wow, they just took him out of his element, and he didn't want to be there, and they shot him, and even though it was like a puppet that fell off at the end, I was like, oh, that's fucked up, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, and The Fisher King made me cry in some
I still haven't seen that damn movie.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie,
man.
That's
the one movie I keep telling myself, and I keep forgetting, but yeah, I'm gonna rent that this week.
Oh, Forrest Gump made me cry.
Because of Jenny.
No, it's like no, man. To the whole movie, he's Forrest Gump is sitting up there talking. He's being goofy and shit, and he's like, this dude don't know what if the fuck is going on around him. He's just he saw circumstance, everything that happens with him, and through the whole movie, he's just chocolates and don't and then he finally when his mother dies, and he's telling a story, and nobody's really listening to him. Even he's sitting up there, and he's crying his ass off, man. Wow. And I was like, wow, this guy really does feel some deep emotion for his mother.
Yeah. Well, the part that made me almost cry was this scene where he finds out that he has a kid. And he's worried that he's as retarded as he is.
Should I be worried too?
Yeah, and that poor guy. And of course, the girl he's in love with ends up dying.
Yeah, no,
she gets AIDS. She's
like, they never say AIDS.
Yeah, they never say, but you can tell.
Disease that's what's cool about that.
But that part. Okay, how many movies was that for you, Corey?
Man, that was 6 actually.
Was that 6?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should come up with mine. I'll break down here. Well, the number one, I'll say Iron Giant. Iron Giant made me cry.
God, how can I
like
forget Iron Giant, man?
Superman.
No.
Oh,
man, Iron Giant. How could I forget that? Iron Giant had me crying like a baby.
I was crying like a bitch in Iron Giant. And yeah, it sucked, man. But okay, Iron Giant. Jeez, man. I was listening to you rant. I was trying to think. It was like,
why did you stop me?
Any other movies?
That's why I was talking.
Well, no, I was letting you. Hey, I was letting you go. Do your thing. Okay. Iron Giant. What's another one? Damn it. Oh, Home Alone. When the old guy, you know
don't
that
you ever make fun of me.
The old guy that nobody likes, everybody thinks he's mean and everything, and then you find out like he hasn't talked to his family in forever, and the last shot where you see him walk up to his family's house and he's there, and his family comes out and they start hugging him, and this whole time the world treated him like a monster, Corey.
Man, don't you ever
and
laugh
all
at me.
he wanted was to be with his family, his son.
Okay, man. See, you can't say shit about Home Alone. What
That's
else?
2. Okay, now what was the other one? God, now I'm trying to think. Think hard, co-host. Think hard. What was the other damn movie I was thinking about? Cocoon. No.
I'm about to throw my water bottle at you.
Damn, that's hard. Yeah, those. I can't really think.
You don't impress me as a person who has deep emotions enough to cry.
Not really.
Things.
No, I cried. I cried at the end of Ishtar. That was pretty awful.
See, now you fucking with me. Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, there was another movie you just made me think about that. Mm-hmm. Did you cry when Spock died?
Yeah.
in a Rathacon.
I did, yes.
I did too, man.
Remember, you, Jim, are my best friend. Whatever he said.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's been so long since I've seen that movie, but I just remembered, when they're both, he's like, no. He's like dying right there in front of him. He's like, they got that window separating.
Yeah,
the
he's
both
like,
of
he's
them.
trying to touch him.
Yeah, he's trying to touch him. Oh my God! Speaking of trying to touch, what was that movie?
Get away from me!
No. What was that? What was it called? Was it called Project X with the monkeys, the apes? Matthew Broderick was in it.
That was a terrible movie.
Yeah, but what was it called?
I don't remember.
I think it was Project X or something with the chimps. They had that ball that came up.
Yeah,
and it was radiation. They were trying to see how much radiation an ape could take during I guess flying a jet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene where something happens to where that sphere that came up that produced the radiation, something screwed up, and basically they were trying to get the one of the apes to take out, I think it was like a fire extinguisher or something that got caught on, and they were trying to get him to pull it out so that machine would go back down, so nobody would there wouldn't be any radiation leak. And apparently they were showing him a banana on the other side of the glass window. They were showing him a banana, like, if you take that out, you'll get the banana. And so he's already weak, because of the radiation, and he like crawls up. He starts to take it out, and as soon that the sphere goes down, and everyone's like, all right, we're all safe. And then the ape goes to the window and starts tapping at the window, and they can't give him the banana, Corey. And he dies. That poor guy dies. And one of the little apes like goes up to the window and touches it because it's his old friend.
Okay, I can see how that could be.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so is that what? That's 3?
Yeah.
Okay, now 4 would be the black hole. The black hole with the robot, the junk robot.
Yeah. Old Bill or something like that. Yeah. Bye, buddy.
Bye, buddy. Where eventually he dies, the little robot dies, and he goes flying away, floats away in space.
I can't say anything. That's 4, right?
Okay, that's 4. And the 5th one, oh my God. Oh, Jesus. God, I know. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Oh, really?
When the mom dies.
Yeah,
they have to set the house on fire, and that movie teared me up for some reason.
I can't say anything. $1 Million Baby made me tear up. And if
really?
I'm talking,
I haven't seen it.
Oh, well,
I hear there's a surprise ending. Or something.
Watch it, man. It's rough. It's rough.
Okay.
But I can see that in Project X. So if that's the name of the movie, that is a sad scene.
Yeah, it's a real sad scene.
I can't say anything though, man, because I cried I didn't cry, but I kind of choked up at the end of Gremlins. When the old Asian guy's like, he has something he'd like to say to you.
Oh, there you
and
go.
Gizmo comes out, he's like, bye, Billy. And I was like, oh, man.
Billy. Yeah, you're right. That did make me cry.
Yeah, we should have been crying right now. Beat my own self with this bottle. But
that was sad. And then they had to bring him back in part 2.
Part 2 was cool, though.
Yeah,
and that brings us to our next email, actually.
About Gremlins?
Well, it says, oh man. Okay, I'll go past that.
All right.
And because this will connect with what we're saying, it has to do with sequels.